Right, CTR and Search Console. The best way to find true CTR is using your own Search Console. Hopefully you've got that running, you've got some data in there, and we're going to show you how to do this right now. It's important to understand the difference between a branded term and a non-branded term. A branded term quite simply contains the brand, your brand in the search term. You'll find that these are the majority of your searches. Majority of the time, for most people, somebody's looking for the brand and then something about the brand, and that's when you show up. And you can see that in Search Console. So if you go to Queries and then Web, and then look at the last 90 days, you can see in this fictitious example, Acme is the number one, Acme DNA, Acme Dog DNA. So this is a dog DNA company fictitiously. And you can see that that's where the majority of their clicks and impressions are coming from. You can download all of these and sort. So you can get a handle on, and it's not a bad way to look at it. When somebody is searching for a brand, what are they searching? Are they putting anything next to it? And then what our CTR is with that. And you can see on the right-hand side, branded CPR next to impressions, 51%, 49%, 70%, 60%. So you can see that if you can get to a branded search, people are going to click on your site, which kind of leads into some other strategies on encouraging people to do branded searches, but that's for another lesson. And you can see those instantly skew click-through rates because in that white paper example in the intro, the number one spot was getting 31%, and they're getting much higher than this in their branded searches. But more importantly, we need to look at non-branded searches. So again, we're looking at queries in the web the last 90 days. And within this, you can, in the queries, you can take out the brand. So you can subtract as a negative word the brand, and then what Search Console will show you are all your unbranded terms. You can download that list. Here's where things get fun. Okay, so we've got all the terms that were in the one spot, and you can see at the bottom here it's at 1.1, 1.1, 1.1. Beyond that is 1.2. That's the average. It's because it's mostly in the one spot, maybe occasionally not. So we can take all of the number ones and average them, and we can find out what our average CTR is when we are in the number one spot. And we can do that through number two, number three, as deep as you want to go in terms of rank, and that's position, and that's given to you by Search Console. You can then make a list, and that's what you see on the far right hand of the screen. So in the first position, we're getting 15.79% click-through rate. We're also getting 15% in the number two position. So you can see that when you're looking at it from the perspective of should we be going after this keyword, we're in the number two spot, should we try to move to the number one? Is that worth our time and money? You can see that the amount of search volume that needs to be there to justify that has to be very high because it's basically the same if we're in the number one or number two position. I would also note that the number one position at 15.79% is significantly lower than what that white paper was saying at 31%. You can also see that things jump up in fun ways when they're on page two. There are times when they're actually getting a decent amount of click-through rate. Now that could be smaller data sets, and you'll want to weigh that out a bit. It's unlikely that getting to the 16th spot is going to get you 67%. That's low amounts of data. But you can start to get a feel for basically it really crunches in the middle after from like 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10 even. There's not a lot of difference there. So for this particular keyword or niche, really just getting to page one is probably the goal, and then we're about there. And if we could push up to 1 or 2, then we know, okay, we're going to get about 15%. But otherwise, we're getting somewhere between 3 and 8%. It's probably what it's going to be, and it doesn't matter maybe too much which rank it is. You will never see that in any white paper. When you do this for your own site or for your client site, you're going to get a lot of information about these branded terms or unbranded terms and what actual click-through rate is for the site. This is some of the most actionable data you can possibly give if you're doing client-side work. This really impresses your clients.